Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in a very special webinar brought to you by 888 VoIP. It's your one-stop shop value-added VoIP distributor. My name is Rebecca Johnson. I organized today's webinar, and I'll be monitoring the session. I'm going to begin with an introduction and an overview, and then we're going to dive in. Our host of today's webinar is 888 VoIP's very own with sales, Joe LaBella, Director of Advanced Solution Practice. Joe brings a ton of knowledge with him and is happy to assist you at any time. Once we get started, I will enter his email in the chat for you to save. Joe will be covering a bit about 888 VoIP and then dive into Yealink's T7 T8 Series phones, their features and design, and the upgrade strategy. He's also going to get into Yealink's major security features. We'll introduce the Wi-Fi handsets and then give you an idea of a few solution scenarios for different verticals. He's going to wrap up with reviewing their exciting end-of-year promotion that we hope you can take advantage of. He's joined by 888 VoIP's Jay Thompson, Tech Support Engineer. Jay is here to answer any of your technical questions. He will also be monitoring the chat, so feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A or the chat box throughout the session. He will jump in and throw them to Joe, or Jay will take on the question himself and then answer anything that you may have at the end. Stick around to the very end because we will be giving away 2 Yealink phones to 2 very lucky winners. The winners' names will be chosen randomly post-webinar and will be contacted directly via email. The only requirements are that you have registered for this webinar, have stayed for the entirety, and are located in the US. 888 VoIP is on track to host many more webinars on a regular basis, so stay tuned for more. All right, so let's get started. I'll pass it off to you, Joe.
Wonderful. Thanks for the introduction, Rebecca, and good morning, everyone. Thank you all again for attending. I know it's been a little while since 888 VoIP has done a webinar, but we obviously want to make sure that we're in the forefront for some of the new and impressive products that are coming through for some of our big vendors. Today, we're obviously going to highlight a little bit more about some of the new SIP phones that are coming through on the Yealink product line. But real quick, for those who may or may not have worked with 888 VoIP before, a real quick overview of kind of who we are as a distribution company. As Rebecca had mentioned, we are a valuable one-stop solution source for anything to do with the devices that we carry. We do have a lot of industry-leading networking collaboration solutions. Obviously, voice over IP is a big staple for what we do here, but we do have a lot more outside of just physical devices. We do offer support, helping to watch partner companies grow from 1 to 2 man solution shops to 50 to 60 plus enterprise level style companies. So it's been really exciting to watch partners grow and develop with us and just see how things start to grow as technology evolves. We are here to provide more than just physical hardware. We do a lot of back-end provisioning from basic solutions where we just implement standard URLs, advanced all the way to do special types of configuration. We even have some partners send us specific labeling and stickers so it looks like it drop ships from their warehouse. So we can be that back-end background effort for your team, maybe to help save a few steps along the way and give your team a little bit more focus on what your teams do best. So feel free to reach out to us for anything that we can do on the back end for your offerings. Outside of hardware, we do also offer some software solutions, not just physical devices, but we've got licenses, different kinds of portal access, different kinds of collaboration access. So a lot of manufacturers now are starting to lean on distribution a bit more to offer outside of just physical devices. So feel free to ask questions or see if there's anything else that we can offer outside of just physical products to your team. Full cycle logistics, we do really harp on this with all of our partners to let you know that we are fully dedicated to make sure that any products or any projects that you need to have shipped, whether it's directly to your client, to your offices, we want to make sure that it's leaving our warehouses the same day that it's ordered as best as possible. If we do not have equipment, we'll make sure to provide the ETA at the time of the order. We also offer RMA services. This again falls on where we can be an industry leader for you, where we offer the same level of support and RMA services that the manufacturer is looking to send to the channel, but we take that on directly. So anything that's purchased from us and worked with us, we'll make sure to support all the way through, whether it's an issue at the start or an issue during the cycle of the warranty process. Please feel free to reach out to us for anything that pops up throughout your installations. We also offer different types of warehousing, whether it's private stock. We can hold inventory for certain products and projects that you're working on and deploy it and ship it when you're ready. And we also can do some back-end device configuration if you need any kind of specific firmware or you'd like the devices to look a certain way on the physical screen before it leaves. Again, we really don't have any restrictions. So anything that your team or your clients are looking for, feel free to ask, and I'm sure we can work on a solution to make that happen. And then lastly, we do have a really strong API connection. What this does for a lot of our partners is it actually offers, in a way, an e-commerce level access to your website. So if your clients are really focused on going to your site, whether it's for different details to contact your support team, contact your sales team, you can now offer an option to even make your portal a bit of an ordering tool. So feel free to give us a call and we can go over and explain this. We do have a full-fledged web team as well that can build a small sandbox for your API integration. That'll give us a test setting for you. So that way, if you would like to place some test orders and see kind of how that process goes, we could definitely work with you on all of that. But every order, regardless of the embedded backend aspects that we work with you on, all of them are going to receive quick tracking. All of the invoices will have max and serials, so you can get all of that information up front to start any kind of on-site configuration if your team's going to take care of that. And again, if we can drop ship directly to your client and do the provisioning for you, that saves a lot of time and effort and even travel to try to get people on site. So this is just a small overview of what we offer. Please feel free to reach out for anything else that you feel would be a benefit to working and partnering with us. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a full team of technical support staff members. They're all certified in the manufacturers that we carry. So if there's ever a delay when you're trying to reach out to the manufacturer, please come to us first. We'd love to be your first line of support. And then from there, bring in the manufacturer if need be. Rebecca is part of a brand new marketing team that we have here, and I can say, being here for 12 years, it's definitely a night and day difference compared to what we've had. So really looking forward to leaning on them more, and I am definitely proposing this to partners as we speak today. I think the marketing efforts that we'll have here can also greatly benefit the partners. So anything that you're looking for, whether you want to build out your own marketing brand or your own marketing slicks, if you need high-res images, if you need any kind of customization or any kind of ideas on what makes sense or what we're seeing that's working, feel free to lean on us for that as well. As we mentioned in the earlier slide, we do have same-day shipping. We've got 2 different warehouses that we'll show in a second, but what we try to do is make sure that the orders come in and out as fast as possible. That way your lead times are accurate, your jobs can be done quick and easy, and then from there you don't have to worry about following up on where the packages are. We'll supply all the information that you need, and everybody on the staff can get that information for you if you're ever missing it. And then lastly, we've got wholesale pricing as a wholesale distributor. So don't think that MSRP is the only option that we have from a price perspective. We do try to make sure that we vet all of the partners so that we've got the proper information, and then from there can give you the most accurate and cost-effective cost on all the devices that we ship out. We offer financing through third-party lenders, and we can also make the ordering process smooth and easy from our back-end portal. Again, any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. Pre-sales and post-sales technical support is a huge benefit to working with 888 VoIP. Like I mentioned, we don't want to just offer products and then leave your team in the dark. We want to be available for you, whether it's prior to purchasing anything, if there's any questions on how to do a particular deployment or a design for a new project, whether it's audio video conferencing, whether it's phone deployments, whether it's something to do with any kind of networking. We want to make sure that everyone is aware that you can lean on us for more than just pricing and boxes. We can do more than just help out from the cost perspective. So feel free to reach out when you have questions or email us. As I mentioned, we've got the certified engineers on staff. We also have pre-sales certified specialists that can help with all the different brands that we carry. From provisioning all the way to the RMA focus, we want to be available for you for any questions that pop up. So just keep that in mind, that we are more than just an ordering platform for your team. Real quick, our main warehouse and main corporate office is located in Buffalo, New York, but we do have a satellite warehouse in Reno, Nevada. Both warehouses are going to be stocked with the products that we carry. We do have really quick turnaround times, whether it's, later in the day on the East Coast, we can still get product out in Reno, and then vice versa. If you order late in the day from the Reno warehouse, we can try to ship it out from New York the next morning. So don't feel like you're forced to use just one warehouse. Wherever the equipment is available and wherever we can get the equipment to those locations the fastest, that's what we're going to do to focus on the partners and make sure that your installs go as smooth as possible. Quick overview here of what our portfolio looks like. From desk phones to premise security, IP paging, and networking products, we definitely have a full range of product here to form a full solution for your team. So if you're only needing desk phones, by all means, call us and let us know if there's anything else we can offer, but we will always ask the questions on anything else that you might need to build out a full solution for the project that you're working on, and maybe even throw out some ideas of different types of revenue streams that maybe you're not working on today. So the and more is definitely something I want to highlight, because I always urge folks to let us know if there's particular types of products that you're not getting from us today, but you really enjoy the service and the relationship that we have. We have no problems reaching out to these manufacturers to find out if we can be another distribution arm. So always welcome to hear what is working for your business and what we can do to be a better advocate for you all. And then again, just a quick thanks for hopping on the webinar today before we jump into the Yealink slides. This phone number, the website, and this sales@888voip.com email is definitely a huge piece of information to keep. Anytime you have questions, feel free to reach out to sales@888voip. You can even reach out to support@888voip for both your sales and your support inquiries. I always urge folks to reach out to sales for everything that you need. So anytime there's any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to help, and usually are pretty quick to respond. All right, so real quick, just a fast overview. So Yealink is going to be the manufacturer that we're focusing on today, and they're going to be kind of talking about their new next generation of SIP phones. A lot of these devices are going to be a little bit familiar, maybe feature-wise, to what you're seeing today, but there's a lot of new physical changes and some back-end updates that we wanted to highlight. Just a quick overview of Yealink. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been here for 12 years. When I started here, it was around the 2015 mark, 2013 mark, I want to say. And Yealink was still kind of in its infancy. So impressed is probably an understatement to see where their trajectory has gone, where their growth has been, and kind of how consistent they've been at staying at towards the top as far as a global leader in the SIP business. So as you can see, this is a small progression of kind of their timeline, but along the way, there's been even more advancements that I don't think people understand how important that is to see their growth. So they've been a huge player in the market for quite some time. They are now listed since 2017 as the top IP market phone in the global market share. They're also number one for customer satisfaction, with over 15 million endpoints sold globally. Again, this is a real testament to their hard work and dedication to keeping their products accurate, but also listening to partners on what they want to see the trajectory of their product grow. So ourselves included, we love to hear the feedback, as well, on how the products are doing, what could be done better, and if there's anything else that you would like to see in the future. Quick overview here of some of the global customers that Yealink has deployed for. The biggest thing to highlight here, in my opinion, are the different verticals. So obviously you've got a lot of big names out there, but it's the implementation in the different verticals throughout the world. They're not focused on just one type of vertical. They want to be available and versatile in all these different segments. So if there's ever a project that you have and Yealink isn't something that you're talking about today, it might be a manufacturer that you'd want to look into. And again, we're always here to kind of offer a little bit of insight to see if it can make a lot of sense, depending on the deployment that you're going with. All right, so these are just some images, actually real-time images of the production and corporate facilities of Yealink. They are based in China, but they do have a network of team that works close to 24 hours a day. If we ever have any questions or needs, we get responses back very quickly. So their dedication is by far, top notch as far as response time goes, not only just from product questions, but again, feedback on how things are deployed, what you'd like to see, and even meeting them. They're always interested in coming to the US for different visits, partner visits. They're always happy to talk about different projects as well that you're working on. Since let's see, 2017, they've definitely had some really strong advances in the integration and partnerships that they've had with some other platforms. The biggest one being Microsoft. They've been a very strong partner on the certified platform for voice and video and headsets for the Microsoft brand. Obviously, Microsoft is a big name, but having that dedication to a platform and that relationship really shows that even companies like Microsoft are invested in the future of Yealink. So looking forward to a lot of the new updates coming for all of those other partnerships that are out there. They have a really concerted effort, especially this year. It's been kind of up and down with all the different uh, trade changes and logistics. So seeing them be a little bit more versatile and trying to find some new locations to build equipment, US warehousing that they wanted to keep in play for storage, as well as quicker supply for the tier one distributors such as 888 VoIP, just to have quick access and quick response to all of the needs that are out there in the US right now. And then again, their R&D and their production is definitely by far some of the top that I've seen. And I say that because when we've proposed a couple of different requests, it seems like maybe one or two generations later, we're seeing that in full, full work. It's 100% ready to go. Everyone that's asking for those backend changes or what they'd like to see, you're going to notice it. So don't think that your suggestions go unnoticed. It's definitely a huge important piece that Yealink uses to keep themselves at the forefront for the different technology deployments in the world. And then again, they've got um, different experience centers throughout the world. The US has had a couple that have been deployed. I've used them personally for a few different demo calls, and I think it really kind of shows the effort that they want to put into making sure that people can see their product in action before worrying about a larger deployment or going over any questions that you have in real time. Security is always a huge factor when it comes to any sort of deployment. And as you can see here, from different levels of security, Yealink has been trusted with a lot of larger manufacturers on the back end, whether it's compliance, with different types of company level securities, from the product level security, they've got the Microsoft ecosystem. They've got a whole bunch of certifications for Zoom as well, and then supply chain security using Qualcomm chips being provided through, Intel avenues. You've got a lot of big names out there that work with Yealink to make sure that all of the equipment that's embedded in the hardware that they deploy and they manufacture is industry known. Their device management platform has been a really big conversation as of late, and knowing that they've got a trusted backend cloud through the Microsoft Azure platform gives everyone just a little bit more comfort knowing that it's a larger manufacturer that's also embedded themselves to support the management platform built by Yealink. And then lastly, all of the devices, they don't go through any kind of IP or servers in China. I know that's a question that comes up a lot. Their data centers are global, but they have them outside of China as well. US, Europe, and Australia, they do hold different data centers for your data management platform. We will have a slide that goes over the cloud service from Yealink, but I do want to make sure that we highlight that. It's a question that comes up pretty often, not just from installers, but end users as well. So it's a very trusted and focused, organization when it comes to your security and your data. Lastly, some quick facts about Yealink phones in the North America market before we jump into some of the product line. So they've been in the market here for 20 plus years. Over a 50% of that is the Teams phone market share, which just kind of shows their growth with that one platform. But they've also moved to the 60+% phone share market on the SIP side as well, with over 3.5 million devices sold and deployed, and over a 0.3% RMA rate. I can't stress that enough. We sell a lot of Yealink equipment, and we are given the overage in our warehouse to be flexible for RMA. And I don't know, if we see as many RMA requests for Yealink as we do, maybe some other brands that we've carried in the past. So to say that their products are deployed and last is probably an understatement. But again, things happen, of course, and don't feel like you have to lean on the manufacturer directly. Please come to us. We're happy to take care of any kind of questions or issues that pop up. So a quick overview of the current line card on the SIP phone side and the media phone side. So Yealink, again, has certification for both Zoom and Teams. That's where the MP line comes in. These devices are pre-configured and pre-labeled at the manufacturing level before they deploy to Tier 1 distributors. So if you need a Zoom or Teams certified SIP device or voice device, that is going to be the line to look at. The T5 series, and that has been probably one of the more popular lines that Yealink has had in quite some time. The T54W is the top seller out of that family, but as you can see, there's a really nice progression from the 58 Pro with the camera all the way down to the 53 as far as the uniform look, and just giving a really nice appearance on different deployments that you have, whether it's for executives or if you want to have clients that standardize on a certain model. There's a lot of flexibility through the T5 family. T4 is just a step down, but again, a lot of similarities from features, whether it's built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth or LED screens, color displays, certain line appearances. You do have that chrome bezel on the devices themselves that gives a little bit more elegant office look. And then lastly, you've got the T3 series, bit more of an entry-level style, but again, there's really no reduction on performance. You're going to get the same SIP stack, the same integration chipsets, a lot of the same configuration as well with different PBXs, whether it's hosted or cloud supported, on-premise, what have you. You're really not going to see any downfalls on the devices themselves. It's just a feature difference or a line appearance difference. Next, we'll move to their cordless phones and their conference phones. They do have a really nice multi-cell decked solution. They offer, different kinds of services as far as that goes. If you have multi-dwelling units, if you have hospitals or retirement homes, places that need a lot of coverage, but maybe you don't want to have to worry about running a copper line or a SIP line or any kind of SIP trunking to all of, the individual locations or network drops. You can keep the deck solution in that area, offering a wider coverage, and then from there deploying one of the decked handsets depending on the budget or the need from the client themselves. Yealink does have 4 different style conference phones, 2 of which share the same model, but they do have different connections. The CP965 has certifications on Teams and Zoom. The 925 is definitely ideal for a smaller setting. And then if you're looking for any kind of wireless conference phones, the CPW or the CP935W, whether decked using the base station or Wi-Fi using the non-base unit, that'll give a built-in battery with its own separate charger, so you don't have to worry about running cabling to your conference tables themselves. And then lastly, their Wi-Fi phones have definitely made a really strong impact in the market right now, not only from integration perspective, but again, with a lot of networks being a little bit more robust now with folks coming back to the office or multiple locations trying to connect. You're going to see Wi-Fi become a little bit more of an accessible need. So having a flexible option in 2 different models there on the Wi-Fi enabled devices is definitely a nice feature. I can tell you that they sell through faster than we can get them in. So now that we have inventory, we are starting to see more requests for it come in. But any questions, if you ever have a request for maybe NFRs or demos, again, feel free to reach out to us. We have really great cadence and conversation with our SIP reps to make sure that we get these devices out. Okay, so the new phones are going to be the T7 and T8 series. This obviously is a really quick kind of overview of inside an office or different types of verticals on where their phones can fit. There's really no limitation on their devices and where it can be deployed within a business. This upgrade strategy, I think this is a pretty important slide because a lot of folks maybe standardize on certain models right now. You may have built customized templates for the 54W. And if down the line the 54W has an end of sale or end of life announcement, you're going to want to know the next step to give the clients the best performance and mimic what they've been used to. So this is a slide that we can share at any time. But really, as you can see here, a lot of the upgrade paths are going to mimic a lot of the physical features, just a much more elegant and modern design with the T7 and T8 phones. The T8s are going to give you the bigger screens, a little bit more touch capabilities, while the T7 really only has the 77U from a touch phone perspective. It's more of your worker phone in that sense, something that has physical buttons, whether you want to have physical line appearance buttons, physical mute buttons, or DND device buttons. There's going to be a lot of the same overall screen layout, but you're going to see newer chipsets and newer security features on the T7 and T8 phones. Okay, so just a couple of bullet points here on some of the upgrades to the 7 and 8 series phones from Yealink. Like I mentioned, you've got a new modern design, more of an industrial gray color, and a bit thinner overall. So it's a bit of a smaller form factor on the desk. The T8 series will have a hidden emergency button right at the top, and then you also have a new hinge for your screen, whether you want to adjust for glare. You don't have to worry about moving the desk stands around now. What you could do is just move the screen itself. Updates to the system and security. It offers the Linux 6.1 and Android 13 system, along with TEE hardware encryption. The background noise cancellation that's built into the handsets on these phones includes AI noise background cancellation, as well as acoustic shield and 3W speaker technology. So your high definition voice quality is going to be far superior on the 7 and 8 compared to the 5s and the 4s, although those were also tested very well. So still seeing more advancements from the new lines of phones coming out on the Yealink brand. The devices that offer built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will have Bluetooth 5.0 and Wi-Fi 6 for faster response. You do have a unified and cleaner user interface, along with BLF floating notification, and then better accessibility. With larger text, higher contrast, and better color correction, you get a much more clearer presentation on the physical device itself. And then lastly, a bit more eco-friendly from a power consumption and power saving perspective. And then the different types of materials that are used, obviously offer a little bit more ability to keep the devices cleaner. That way, if it's a shared space, maybe it's a call center environment, and you want to make sure that the custodial staff doesn't worry about damaging the devices. The materials used now can allow anybody to keep those devices nice and sanitized if there's a shared space that the devices are going to be deployed in. So there's a couple of images here that kind of show that hidden hinge on the side of the T7 and T8. So that'll make life a bit easier to adjust the screen if need be. And then you've got emergency and touch buttons on the devices themselves. The red button at the top in case there's ever an issue. If you have a T8 series deployed at a front desk at a retail store or an office, and you ever run into a need for that emergency button configuration, you can click that, have it send a call to an emergency response number, and then from there, the users would be able to respond to any calls that come in. All right. So again, touching on some of the upgrades here with the audio and update for some of the high quality sound. You've got the noise cancellation if you're in a cubicle environment, or maybe you don't have headsets deployed and you're concerned that people on the other end of the line are going to hear the background noise in the office. That AI noise cancellation helps to block out the background noise, and then the person speaking is the main focal point of the call. That falls in line with the acoustic shield technology. That is a built-in shield, so to speak, that blocks out any background noise, not just other voices, but HVAC sounds, typewriter, pen clicks, things that could potentially distract folks that are on a call. So that way the call itself is a lot more focused, and then there's really no background noise to cause any kind of disruptions. These are full duplex devices. mostly everything now is full duplex, but it is something to highlight. And then you've got the 3-watt speakers there for louder sound inside the handset for maybe folks that have some hearing aid compatibility needs, or would just need a little bit more amplification when it comes to the speaker sound out of the handset itself. This is a quick overview of a few securities enhancements at the core of these units. Like we mentioned, Android 13, the TEE hardware encryption, along with Linux 6.1. All of that is going to be built in now on the T7 and T8s. You do have something called Ring Secure in the smart zones here for these devices. So these 3 rings of security, you have the core ring, which ensures the device integrity. That way you can prevent any kind of unauthorized access or changes or anybody trying to log in and tamper with the device. You've got a shield ring that protects the network connections against any kind of attacks or DDoS intrusions. And then the guard ring secures the transmission to protect the signaling and any kind of media or data that's in transit, and even when the phone is not in use. Getting a little bit more granular as far as what core ring for device integrity looks like. So they've added some integrity verification, encryptions on the firmware side, and then signature certifications, just to make sure that the devices start and operate the way that they're supposed to without any kind of glitches or issues on site. You do have the shield ring for network protection. So using 802.1x authentication. You also have script input injections for cross-site attacks, as well as content security policy. So for both wired and wireless communication, if you have devices that are using Wi-Fi to connect to the network, you've got a little bit more built-in security to give a little bit of a level of comfort to your user if they do decide to go with the Wi-Fi connection to the system. And then lastly, the transmission security through the TLS 1.3. You've got a little bit better SRTP media protection. You do have a lock icon on the units, and then you also have encryption for the configuration files. That way everything stays private and secure. Here's some images here that kind of show the new unified UI, the gesture recognition that's been introduced on some of the Android models for any kind of mobile phone experience to interface with the desk phones. Then you also have BLF floating windows that can respond more quickly when it comes to the users that are monitoring their devices. So if you are going with a touchscreen, it's a little bit more interactive. There's less issues when it comes to some of the touch capabilities on some of the devices. Here's some back-end specs here on the T8 series phones. As you can see, the 3-4 models that they have, you're going to see some similarities from the line key perspective, but you definitely get more DSS keys on the higher level. All of them have the ability to do the dual band Wi-Fi 6. All of them have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz connection for the Wi-Fi, and then WPA3 on the enterprise level. Bluetooth 5.0 on all 3. And then you also have that antimicrobial material on the devices for, again, any kind of shared space or even just cleaning services to make sure that those devices can be disinfected at any time that it's needed. And then lastly, this doesn't come up as often, but if you ever need it, you do have a 10-way local conference. That way, if you want to have internal meetings, but you don't want to leave your desk, you don't have to worry about creating a bridge on an outside platform. You can do it right from the phones themselves. T7s, as you can see here, there's 5 models to choose from. The W stands for built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and then the U would just stand for the UI codec. So the unified communication aspect is going to be there, whether you have embedded Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, or if you don't, have that option. The 77U would be the biggest screen that you have that does have touch capabilities. Now that unit does not have built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. However, you have the option to add those with the accessory dongles through the manufacturer. You can offer PoE on all of these devices. And then lastly, you have 5 or 10-way local conferences, again, depending on if you want to have any kind of internal conferences on a whim, you just need to invite the internal extensions, and then you can make an audio conference right from the bridge built into the phones themselves. All right. A couple of examples here of some verticals that these Wi-Fi cordless phones can go into. Retail and manufacturing is definitely warehouses as well. Those are some of the three most common ones that we see right now, just because of on the go needing to have something available, either on a belt clip secured to the unit, to the person that's using the device, or having it in their back pocket. It gives them that mobility without worrying about a headset, so to speak, where maybe people are concerned that the battery life on a headset or the range from the base might not be able to reach the Wi-Fi connection. As long as the network is nice and strong, can give you a lot more coverage within the realm of the space that you're working. There is longer battery life on both devices. From the AX86R, because it's a ruggedized phone, it is a little bit larger from the talk time and standby time on the battery itself. And it shows here that it's got the industry record for the battery life. So if you're using this in a warehousing space, you don't have to worry. Obviously, if you drop the phone, it's got a bit more of a ruggedized casing, but then you also don't have to worry about running back to charge or dock the unit, because it does have almost a, hopefully a full day's worth of talk time that you could use. This is a really important feature that I don't think people talk about enough, and it's some of the built-in emergency and risk management aspects of the device. So again, if you're using this in a warehouse and you have someone who falls from maybe a ladder or slip and falls, in a warehouse, or maybe the device just shows that it hasn't been moved or touched in a while, you can create all of these different alarms to alert folks that maybe there's an issue going on, in the different settings that the phones are going to be deployed in. So whether it's physically touching the red emergency button on the top, or again, putting in that no movement or man down alarm, that can give a lot of attention to any unknown threats or security issues that might be happening, and try to address that prior to anything bigger escalating. So these are all built-in features, configurations, and all of that can be done, and we can assist with any questions that pop up there. So quick spec sheet here on the two different models that we have. As you can tell, the AX86R is going to be your ruggedized version. You also have the dual band Wi-Fi 6 on both. Now, obviously, it shows just some examples for different scenarios, but you're not forced to look at it that way. You can definitely use the ruggedized phone in a more retail or hotel setting, and you could always use the non-ruggedized in a warehouse or factory if you'd like to. All of these devices are full duplex, while the 86R offers the acoustic shield. The noise cancellation is available on both models. We addressed and talked about the battery life on both models as well. You do have that red emergency button alarm on the ruggedized model, so that is something to keep in mind. And then you also have a 3.5 millimeter jack if you want to do a wired connection for a headset, if you don't want to physically hold the receiver to your ear every time you use it. Looks like we might have the same slide a couple times, so just keep going through this real quick. All right, so we had brought this up earlier. Yealink's device management platform has been requested and utilized a lot more over the last, I'd say, 18 months. We're seeing a lot more folks, use the cloud, so they don't have to be on site for different deployments or updates. This gives you, as the integrator and the support arm for your clients, a platform to monitor all of your devices. Now, there are different levels of cost depending on how many devices that you're going to have, or the different types of features that you want from your cloud service itself. But again, we can help create the account. We can go over all the backend specifications, and then also help to make sure that the navigation of that portal is done efficiently. So if there's anything that we can do to answer questions on the Yealink YMCS platform, please feel free to reach out. Here is a example here of a unified communication solution, or SMB, for the different portfolio options that Yealink has. So, you can see here for a Teams collaboration or a team collaboration, you've got a conference space that maybe you've got a conference phone. On the common areas, you've got some phones that are available if anyone needs to make a call. Your front desk reception area has phones with sidecars for quick transfer buttons. Public office spaces, you've got your best-in-class user interface design on the T7 and T8 series. And if you need a little bit more executive look, you go with the higher end T8 models. So this is just one solution of how Yealink's portfolio can kind of be deployed throughout an entire corporate location. Same goes for education. You know, obviously everybody's got different needs and different requests. Having classroom phones is definitely a very important feature right now. So that is definitely important to know that there's lower end options that can be put in each classroom, just in case there's ever a need for a phone. If you need the principal's office to have a device with Android and camera built in, if they need to have any kind of calls with other administrators or superintendents, we've got flexibility there. And then you also have options for your IT network operation center, library, you know, teachers' offices, admin offices. There's a lot of flexibility there. Healthcare solutions are definitely popping up a lot as well, especially with the antibacterial materials that are used with these devices now. So it's a little bit more confirmed that these devices, you know, again, can be used in multi-dwelling spaces or shared desks or nurse stations where nurses come and go and they don't want to worry about, you know, not using a phone that may or may not have, you know, any kind of bacteria on it. So those new materials on these phones definitely make this a bit of an easier fit. Not to mention for mobility, for patients' rooms, you know, you've got a lot of different flexibility options here for the different environments that the devices are going to be deployed in. So this is just a couple of quick examples that we're seeing here on some verticals that are becoming more and more popular. But again, just wanted to say thanks for hopping in on the webinar today. I know we went over a lot of information. I don't know if there's any questions that have popped up, but obviously we'd like to take a couple minutes to say thank you again for joining the webinar. We did want to highlight this year-end promotion from Yealink. This is based on deal registrations, but any projects that might be coming to a close before 2025 ends, feel free to reach out to 888 VoIP, the sales team, myself included. We'd be happy to get these registered, see if we can take advantage of a little bit higher year-end promotion discounts and try to get close to, you know, almost doubling up on what the standard discount would be for deal regis. So feel free to let us know how we can help. And again, I'll be quiet. If there's any questions that pop up, then we can answer. If not, thank you all for your time and have a great day.
Hey, Joe, a
Yep.
couple questions have come in. Do we know an end of life yet for the T54W series?
Yeah. Yes. So both the T5s, I was told there's going to be an end of sale announcement in June of 2026, and then an official end of life announcement for December of 2026. So next year is probably going to be the last time we're going to see a lot of the T4 and T5s. So any obviously support and warranty timeframes that are tied to the phones, we're obviously going to honor, but from the manufacturer level, June and December are going to be 2 months that you want to keep an eye out for.
And then how's our inventory levels look for the T7 and T8 series right now?
Outside of the higher end T8s, which I believe are the 88V and 88W, we've got all models in our inventory in both warehouses as we speak.
Okay, and then I'll take this one. Just on the kind of the question that comes up often, the T7 and T8s are certified for 3CX. So those of you who are 3CX partners, if you're running version 20 update 7, the templates are in there for both the T7 and the T8s to be router phones. So as of, I believe that update came out in October, 3CX is certified on those phones.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
I don't think we have any more coming in. Jay or Joe, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think
I don't have much.
touched on everything.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for everyone who joined today, and thanks to Joe and Jay to take some time out of their day to go through all of this with us. So really appreciate it. We will be able to get this recording out to you. So stay tuned. And then again, we will announce the 2 winners after the webinar once chosen. So if there's any questions that come up, feel free to reach out to sales at 88VoIP, support at 88VoIP, or Joe's email specifically as well. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.